Now I gotta ride or die.
Welcome back to the channel. Today you join me from the driver's seat of a 1980 Austin Mini, a complete classic car that just has 43,000 miles on it and one owner from new. This stunning old school classic Mini. I'm going to take it out for an ownership review, see what it's like to drive, because when I was 16 I put a deposit on one of these because I wanted one so bad for my first car, but it blew up before I bought it. Anyway, we'll get into that story as the video goes on, but make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, but onwards to the B-roads. We're interrupting today's video to give a massive thank you to today's sponsor, Yes Auto. Yes Auto is the one-stop shop for buying any car, with an experience that's always easy and enjoyable. Navigating onto the website, you can select each brand that you want to look at, each model, and even down to colour variant. You can also select through the images, as well as looking at brand new cars in 360 degrees inside and out. I myself spend a lot of time just looking at cars for sale, so it's awesome to jump on the Yes Auto website to have a look at cars for sale. You can even do a smart search on new and used cars with an option to select cash price or monthly costs. Their aim is to make car buying easy and enjoyable. Yes Auto are the one-stop shop offering a simple, impartial way to configure and compare new and used cars from almost any manufacturer, with a whole load of clever tools and media content for total reassurance. Once again, a huge thank you to Yes Auto for sponsoring today's video. There is a link in the description to the Yes Auto website. Thank you so much again to Yes Auto for sponsoring today's video, but let's get back to the action. So a 1980 Austin Mini, a car that I tried to buy when I was 16 but never to this day have been offered to drive. I've been offered a few, but this one was the cream of the crop for me. I wanted to drive this for a while and I'm so glad the owner let me came and drive it. It is a one owner from new, 43,000 mile example of an Austin Mini, bought from a 94-year-old woman 7 years ago, and she'd had it from new, and it was bought on the Isle of Wight from Westridge, which is just around the corner from where I am driving this car today. Really cool story, because these cars are becoming sought after in that sense. I do believe that these cars are becoming very sought after. You know, classic cars I believe at the moment are getting expensive. These are no exception. This was bought for around £3,000 7 years ago. Yes, £3,000 for a one owner 43,000 mile example of this Mini. This car is easily worth 7, 8, maybe even £10,000 at this present time of me filming this car in 2021. That's how, not necessarily quickly these are going up, but how sought after they are becoming. I even see, you know, similar examples or worse examples for a lot more money. Looking on the market at the moment, there is a lot out there, but a lot of them are cars you don't necessarily want to buy. This one I'm driving today in its Kermit green paint is exactly the car you want to be buying. An original, relatively unmolested version of the Mini is really hard to find, especially a one owner. I mean, a one owner car in any right, in any classic car right, is definitely a good buy. Now this car was just filled up with petrol and it cost just £14 to fill this car up. Now the car itself isn't tax exempt at the moment, so you will obviously still be paying tax for it, but we don't worry about stuff like that. Insurance again on classic policy is literally £100 if that, so it's really cheap motoring. But that's not really why I'm here today. I want to do, yes, the ownership side, but I
I want to know what it's like to drive one of these. I love classic cars. Again, I own a Ford Escort RS Turbo, 80s generation car, and a 60s big Cadillac. This car is literally the polar opposite of those two cars. The brakes are funny because you have to sort of find the bite, and then it sort of relieves the bite very quickly, which is the weirdest and oddest experience. You sort of go for the brake, and then it sort of like, it just goes away, and then you have to sort of press a little bit harder. I love a good classic car though. The brakes and how it feels to actually brake in this car is just such an experience. As we're stopped at a light, I want to actually go through the interior because it's got the original brown, really nice coloured interior actually. I quite like the brown against the green in a weird way. It is really, really clean in here, considering obviously it hasn't really gone that far, but it is a relatively old car now, this, and kept in really, really good condition. Again, the previous owner to this did, you know, 40,000 miles in it in the space of 30, nearly 40 years. So it is in very, very good condition. I love the way you drive one of these, where you're sort of sat upright like this. The steering wheel is huge in front of you. There's not really a lot of dash, but that creates so much more room. And again, when this car came out, it was just a revelation in how car design was really opted, you know, with dashes and door cards and stuff, and there's so much room in this car, you wouldn't necessarily believe how much room was in it until you stepped in it. I love the Speedo, the classic Speedo in the centre, and you know, I've driven a lot of classic cars, I've owned a lot of classic cars, and I don't believe that this is actually that far away from just probably just a nice little car. Again, like, imagine cruising to the pub in this on a Sunday, just like chilling, throwing it around some corners, no power steering, the back end comes round absolutely lovely. Don't get me wrong, it's not the fastest thing in the world. What, they're 30, 40 brake horsepower these, but the amount of power you can have, with the amount of fun you can have, just throwing it into a corner, that little chassis, lightweight, the steering wheel feel is just immense in this car as well. It feels so good. We've blipped down into third, and you can just feel literally like to the millimetre where those front wheels are. It is just one of the best driving experiences, and today, unfortunately, I'm going back and thinking, why didn't I buy one of these as my first car? Sort of annoying myself today in a weird way, because I really wish I'd had this experience at a young age. You pick a nice day in this car on some good roads, and yeah, it just becomes its own. Really, really cool to see a car like this being enjoyed by its owner as well. Yes, it's been you know, not all the mileage on the world. It hasn't been, you know, round the world in mileage, and you know, it's been daily driven, yes, from time to time, but it's been sat up as well. But I'm so happy that the owner sort of said, oh, I've got this, by the way. She owns a Golf R as well, which we are going to shoot in the next video, and going from that to that is really cool. Yes, daily driving a Golf R is great, but having one of these in the stable is just one of the best experiences ever, and just seeing it in its chrome bits with its fixtures, little wheels, and then going for a drive in it, it's just an exquisite little classic car. But if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Tell me below, what do you think of the classic Mini? I absolutely love it. I'm so glad that I got to drive this one today, because it is a car ticked off the list, and I'm really kicking myself that I didn't buy one of these when I was younger. Again, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I'll see you all on the next one.